Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Lauren, and I am about to guide you through a Vinyasa yoga practice where I guess the short version of what we're doing could just be summed up as core, because it's always a popular request. Um, but I've been thinking of this as my core slow cooker sequence because it's all core work where I'm asking you to move slowly in order to work your core. In a lot of these, the slower you move, the harder you work. There's this misconception that in order to work hard, you have to move quickly. Um, and that's not true. And especially, I would say, with core work, because your lower back can be compromised, your neck can be compromised, which are two places that are already problematic for a lot of us. And so, why put yourself at risk, right? Why bother? Okay, so slow cookers for the core is how I like to think of this. You don't really need anything. 2 blocks and a blanket are always nice to have, but not necessary. And we're going to start with breath work. You can be where you'd like. We will eventually be seated. So the first thing we're doing movement wise after breath work and setting an intention is um, seated. So I'm going to start seated, but if you would rather start on your back and then come up to a seat when it's time for that, you're welcome to do that too. You know your body, right? Okay, so just take some comfortable position. And if that means that you're seated, allow your seat to feel really heavy, but lengthen up through the crown of the head, soften the shoulders. And if you're laying on your back, let your whole back feel heavy and grounded. And draw your attention inward to your breath. Just tap into your breath in this moment. Observe the natural ebb and flow of your breath. Notice how smooth and fluid your breath is. Notice how seamless each breath is. You're always welcome to stay with your natural breath or join me in Viloma 1, where we will interrupt the inhalation, dividing it into 3 parts, holding the breath after each part. Holding the breath for just a moment or two is a perfectly safe practice unless you are pregnant or trying to get pregnant. So if that's the case, skip this practice, just stay with your natural breath. Otherwise, it's perfectly safe. So we'll divide the inhalation into 3 equal parts and then release with a smooth exhalation. All right, so to begin, exhale completely. Push all of the breath out of your lungs. And then inhale 1/3 of the way and pause. Hold your breath here for just a moment. And now inhale 2/3 of the way. Pause here. Hold your breath for just a moment. Inhale 3/3 of the way. Fill your lungs to their capacity. Hold your breath here for one more moment. And then exhale, release with a smooth breath out. Inhale naturally. Exhale naturally. Back to Viloma 1. Inhale 1/3 of the way. Pause, hold your breath here. Inhale 2/3 of the way. Pause, hold your breath here. Inhale 3/3 of the way. Fill your lungs all the way up. Hold your breath here at the top. And then exhale a smooth, long breath out. Inhale naturally. Exhale naturally. Viloma 1. Inhale 1/3 of the way. Pause. Hold your breath. Relax your shoulders. Inhale 2/3 of the way. Pause. Hold your breath. Relax your throat and jaw. Inhale 3/3 of the way. Fill your lungs. Hold the breath. Pause. Relax the muscles of your face. Exhale completely. One smooth, long breath out. Inhale naturally. Exhale naturally. 2 more rounds just like that. Inhale 1/3 of the way. Pause. Hold your breath. Relax your shoulders and arms. Inhale 2/3 of the way. Pause. Hold your breath. Relax your throat, neck, jaw. Inhale 3/3 of the way. Fill your lungs. Hold the breath. Relax each and every muscle of your face. Relax your eyebrows, your forehead. Hold your breath. And then release the breath. One smooth, long exhalation. Inhale naturally. Exhale naturally. One last round. Viloma 1. Inhale 1/3 of the way. Pause. Hold your breath. Inhale 2/3 of the way. Pause. Hold your breath. Inhale 3/3. 100%. Hold the breath. Exhale completely. And then return back to your natural breath. Breathe in a way that takes no effort, no concentration. Come back to a smooth, seamless, easy breath. Notice how you feel. No wrong answers. Okay. And if it feels right for you in this moment, you're welcome to take this time to set an intention. Maybe you bring your hands one on top of the other over your heart, or maybe clasp your hands together, or bring the palms together, and maybe keep your arms right where they're at. But take the next few moments to set an intention for your practice. Silently and slowly repeat a positive word or phrase. And take a deep breath, really sealing your intention, allowing it to settle and absorb into your heart. And you can release your hands and slowly allow your eyes to flutter open. All right. So from wherever you are at, we are going to make our way into a seat, but a very specific seat. We're taking Virasana. So if you've got a block, this is a time to grab one, maybe two, depending on your knees. I would say are a big part of it. Knees are definitely a big part of it. They're not a big part of it, but for me, they're the thing that stops me. For you, they may be. It might be your quads, it might be your hips. There's a lot of factors at play, I guess is where I'm trying to go with this. We're going to take Virasana, take your block, and from a kneeling position, almost like you're going to come forward into tabletop, but you're upright in this kneeling position. Place the block so it runs foot to foot, ankle to ankle, not along the shins, but the other way. Again, ankle to ankle, so that when you take a seat, you're sitting on it because you are wider than you are deep, right? Most of us, I'm sure, go more, at least in our seat, go this way more than we go this way. So you want the block to be in that same position. And I'm being really specific because I can't see you. And a lot of times when people take this position, they put the block the other way. There's something about it that makes everybody do that. Okay. So depending on lots of different spaces in your body, this might not be comfortable. So you just sit on them 2 blocks, but I want you to take some version of Virasana. You can even stick the end of the bolster, with the skinny side of the bolster, sit on that end, whatever you need to do. But I want you to sit in something seated that is symmetrical and you can really ground both sit bones. So this first movement, your pelvis is going to move, but the next several movements, I don't want the weight distribution to change, and I want you to be able to feel it much more firmly. Okay, so let the legs relax, sit up tall, soften the shoulders, seated cat and cows. Inhale as you draw the belly forward, lift the chest, lift the heart, maybe look up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, draw the ribs back, chin to the chest, look down. Move with your breath. Inhale, belly forward, chest up, look up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, ribs back, chin to the chest. Now we're moving the pelvis. So inhale as you draw your belly forward, point your belly button at your thighs, feel yourself rock to the front edge, and then exhale, point your belly button towards your face, feel yourself rock to the back. So I want you to feel that tipping and rocking forward and back, that you're actually changing what part of the bone, what part of your pelvis, part of your sit bones, or your tailbone, whatever. A lot of those mean the same thing. Not all of them do. I sort of throw all those words out there because whatever word resonates with you, whatever you think of when you think down here, feel that change, right? Where you're actually changing what is touching, what you're sitting on, which has this domino effect, right? And that's really big with core work. Okay, so I want you to feel that. Do one more of each. Rocking the pelvis forward and back as much as you can, belly button as far forward and as far back. Okay, and then return back to the center. Now from here on out, you're going to stay on this exact same spot. You're not going to tip forward and back, and you're not going to lift right and left or forward and back this way. So in some of these, the whole unit is going to want to tip forward and back like it just did. In some of these, one side's going to want to come forward, like one knee is going to want to come forward. And in some other ones of these, your one hip is going to want to lift away from the block or away from the support. So again, grounding down, pushing even through the tops of the feet, the toenails pushing down to reach the crown of the head up, ground through the seat, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, bring the right hand down, sweep left fingertips up and over. We're going to move with the breath. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, take the side stretch. So we're taking the same movements we always take. I might have faked you out. You might have thought we were doing something new. We're not. We're doing the same thing, but this is what always applies every time we do this. Now, I don't always require you to sit symmetrically. I don't always require you to do all of this, but the hope is that these things happen sort of on some level, and you're thinking about your pelvis. So here, one side's going to want to lift up, drop it down. Feel that on your seat against, again, your block or whatever it is you're sitting on. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Feel it through the spine. Really open the side of the body. Let's do one more on each side. Keep pushing the toenails, tops of the feet, the shins down into the ground to help lengthen you up. And then take that side stretch. Next time you come back to the center, we're taking the twist. All the same rules applies. Push tops of the feet, toenails, shins down to reach up. Inhale. Exhale, rotate from your waist, releasing the arms, drop the shoulders, maybe look back. Inhale, reach up, lengthen up. Exhale, drop the arms, rotate from the waist. Move with your breath. Inhale, exhale. Now, this is where one hip and one knee is going to want to come forward towards the top of your mat. Now keep your pelvis grounded. Keep everything anchored from the hips down, but from the waist up, there is movement. The movement is initiated at your core. So again, having that firm anchor will not only allow the movement, the twist to be deeper, but it makes sure it's happening at the right spot in the core, in the spine, by the waist. All right, let's do one more each side. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale one more time, lengthen up, push down with the tops of the feet, the shins lengthen up. Exhale, release the arms, soften through the shoulders, take a deep breath. Okay, now we're going to come out of Virasana. So to do that, you're going to lift up, push the block off to the side, come onto all fours on your hands and knees, cross at your shins, and then roll over them. Let the legs come forward. And then maybe lengthen the legs. That feels good. So the tops of your ankles were getting a deep stretch, and then your knees were getting a deep stretch. So depending on what your knees and your ankles are used to, that has the potential to be a lot. Okay, we are going to stay seated. Here, I don't want you to sit on anything. You're going to stay right where you're at. Starting with the legs in front of you. Okay, so core slow cookers. Here's our first one. Bring the hands to the backs of the thighs. Sit up tall. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Instead of the front of the throat, lengthen the back of the neck. Draw the back of the chin down and in. Lengthen again through the backside. All right, soften shoulders down and back. Inhale. Exhale, just hinging at the hips, start to lean back. We're coming to boat pose, Navasana. So notice that the spine is not taking a cat pose. It's not belly button to the face. Now, if you take a Pilates class, they do say that in this pose, but we do things a little differently in yoga. It just, no one's right, no one's wrong. It's just a little different. So here, belly button is pointing forward in neutral. So not the thighs, not the face. Pelvis is in neutral. Now you could stay here, or maybe you lift your feet up away from the ground, but wherever you're at, we're going to stay still. So the work here is in staying still. And so the more movement there is, I don't want to say the less you're working, but the less stability there is, right? This is really about stability. It's a balance pose. So we lift the chest, draw the shoulders down and back, pull the heart forward like you're wearing a necklace you're really proud of, but draw the back of the skull back, the chin down and in, like you're giving yourself a double chin. Okay, lift the feet up a little bit more, maybe release the arms, soften from the shoulders through the arms to the fingertips. Keep the feet together, softly flex and lift them up one more inch. Stay for one more breath. You've got this in Navasana. Feel it in your core. And then bring the hands to the backs of the thighs. Bend the knees. Let the feet come down. Hands beside you. Let the knees sway. All right. So allow your spine to twist here. Oh, my back keeps cracking when I do this. It feels good though. And I think I've said this before, but cracking your joints, cracking sort of, I do it. It's sort of a debated topic. Some people say don't do it. Some people say you should. Not that you should, well, yeah, that you're releasing gases, and it's debated. It's sort of a debated topic. When it's my own body, I have a different set of rules, I think. But in your body, maybe you do what you want. It's your body. Okay. I can't be a hypocrite. You do what you need to do. Okay. We are coming to tabletop. So come on into tabletop. We're not going to stay long, so you don't need any support under the knees, but I would bring your blocks to the top two corners of your mat. All right, and set yourself up in the tabletop closer to the top of your mat, closer to the front of your mat. All right, so hands are under the shoulders. Middle fingers point forward. Push the base of the pointer finger down. You're looking to the space between your thumbs. Draw the back of your skull up towards the ceiling, chin down and in. Again, give yourself a bit of a double chin. All right, we're coming to plank pose. Lengthen the legs back one leg at a time. Start with the feet hip distance apart. You know, anytime we're here, we can drop to the knees and still work the core. Now, in both of these, we want the pelvis in neutral, but because everyone's hip flexors are so tight, you are probably pointing your belly button a little bit at your thighs like I'm doing here. This is an exaggerated version, but a lot of people end up in positions like this. So tuck your tailbone, point your belly button towards your face a little bit more to bring it to neutral. Lengthen through the lower back. Stay for one more breath. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deeply bend the knees, reach the sit bones to the sky. Now in downward facing dog. Deeply bend the knees and point your belly button towards your thighs. And then tuck your tailbone, point your belly button towards your face a little bit. And keep doing pelvic tilt here. Belly button towards the thighs. Belly button towards the face. There's just a couple more here. Notice how this affects your lower back. All right. Point your belly button towards your thighs, which is the pelvic alignment we want in most down dogs. Okay. And spread the fingers. Inhale, shift forward, plank pose again. All right. So hands are pushing into the mat like you're pushing the earth away from you. You're grounding and rooting, anchoring through the hands to lift the chest. And that helps you lengthen the spine, lengthening the lower back, tucking the tailbone, engaging the front side. One more breath. Stay with it. Inhale. Exhale, down dog. Deeply bend the knees. Do a few of those pelvic tilts. And just notice what this feels like, which each of these alignment feels like. All right. And then deeply bend the knees. Inhale, look forward towards the thumbs. Exhale, travel forward. Take baby steps. Walk your feet forward. Forward fold Uttanasana. Let's stay for several breaths. Feet about hip distance. And you can shift the weight around. You can shift it to sort of the different sides of the feet. Maybe bend the knees. Straighten the legs. Maybe draw the chest towards the knees, maybe away. Do what feels good through the head and the neck. Soften through the jaw, the tongue, the forehead. Let's stay 3 breaths. All right, come back to a traditional forward fold. Weight back in your heels. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen the spine, crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Push down through the heels. Inhale, rise all the way up. Circle the arms. We're going to keep moving with the breath. A half sun salutation here. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Ground through the heels. Inhale, rise all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana, lifting the chest. We're going to do 2 more like that. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Push the heels down. Inhale, rise all the way up. Sweep the arms out wide. Lift the chest. One more like that. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Ground through the heels. Inhale, rise, Urdhva Hastasana. Now we're going to add on Sun C. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands down, step the right foot back, runner's lunge. Pause for a moment, hands pushing down, lifting the chest, lengthening the spine. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Firmly plant the hands, spread the fingers, and step back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Check in with the hands, claw the mat. Inhale, shift forward, plank pose. We're going to stay here for a couple breaths. You know you can drop to your knees or stay on your toes. You can keep your feet about hip distance, or you can bring your feet together. Together is a little bit harder. It is your call, but you're going to tuck your tailbone a little bit to ensure that your spine is lengthening through the lower back, engaging through the front side, through the core. Feel the work despite the lack of movement. Lengthen through the neck. Soften muscles of the face. One more breath. You've got this. Plank pose. Stay with it. And then inhale, shift forward. Exhale, slowly lower. You can drop to your knees for that movement. Keep the elbows in tight as you lower. Keep clawing the mat. Tops of the feet down into the ground. Inhale, take a low cobra, pulling the heart forward, shoulders down and back. Exhale, lower the chest. Inhale, tuck the toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. From down dog, pick up the right foot, reach the right heel up and back, push through the heel, inhale. Exhale, bend the knee, slowly draw the knee in towards the chest, in towards the nose. Use your core. Quietly place the right foot in between the hands. Take the runner's lunge. Keep the hands down on something. Maybe it's the blocks. Maybe it's the mat. But push the palms down, lifting the chest. Lengthen the spine. Inhale. Exhale, step forward, forward fold. Uttanasana, rounding through the upper body. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Push down into the heels. Inhale, rise all the way up. Circle the arms, lift the chest. We're going to do one more like that. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands down, step the left foot back. Same thing, runner's lunge, planting the palms. Pushing down through the right heel with the ability to wiggle the right toes. And drawing the left heel back. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Spread the fingers. Squeeze the mat. Inhale, shift forward, plank pose. We're staying for several breaths. You can drop to your knees. You can keep your feet hip distance. You can bring the feet together. But you're going to lengthen your body as you lift away from the floor. Feeling the work in the front side of your body, but no pain. You're feeling the strength build. You're feeling power ignite. Stay for one more breath. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, slowly lower. Keep the elbows in tight. Keep squeezing the mat. Use the strength of the upper body coming all the way down onto the mat. Hands under the shoulders. Inhale, take a low cobra. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower the chest. Inhale, tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. From down dog, pick up the left foot, reach the left heel up and back, push through the heel, inhale. Exhale, bend the left knee, draw it in towards the belly. Use your core as you shift forward, one leg plank, shoulders over elbows, elbows over wrists. And then using the core to quietly place the left foot down in between the hands, coming to the runner's lunge. Right heel draws back, left heel draws down. Left toes can wiggle. One more breath. Inhale, exhale, step forward, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Push through the heels. Inhale, rise all the way up. Circle the arms, lift the chest. We're going to keep going. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands down, step into your plank position. And notice how you got there, because I want you to come into it with the opposite foot next time. Plank pose. Again, you've got lots of foot and leg position options. Take yours. One more breath, pushing down into the mat, lifting the chest. And then inhale, shift forward. Exhale, slowly lower, elbows in tight. Keep pushing through the base of the pointer finger as you lower. Inhale, rise. Take any back bend that feels good for you. Exhale, lower the chest. Inhale, tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 deep breaths here. So allow the heels to draw down towards the earth as you softly bend the knees. Allow the sit bones to reach up towards the ceiling as you point your belly button just a little bit towards your thighs. Relax the neck and the muscles of the face. One more breath. Deeply bend the knees. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, travel forward. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Push through the heels. Inhale, rise up. Circle the arms. We're going to do 2 more like that. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plank pose. Lead with the opposite foot this time. Coming into a plank position. Now, you could stay here. You can have the feet together. If you're still looking for another harder option, you're going to keep the knees together. Keep the ankles more or less together, but pick up your right toes. Point your right toes back. We're not lifting the right leg up, because then that throws off the pelvis. Just pick the right toes up off the ground. One more breath. Maybe keep the toes off the ground for the transition. I'm going to put mine back down. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, slowly lower. Come all the way down. Inhale, take your back bend. Exhale, lower the chest. Inhale, tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. Spread the fingers. Push into the mat with the hands. And as the hands and arms are pushing, relax the head, the neck, the jaw, and the face. Reach the sit bones to the sky. One more breath. Deeply bend the knees. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, travel forward. Walk, step, or jump. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway. Lengthen the spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Ground through the heels. Inhale, rise, Urdhva Hastasana. One last Surya Namaskar. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plank pose. Plank pose. Plank pose. Get there how you need to, and maybe stay where you're at. Maybe bring the feet together. Maybe just lifting the toes, keeping the ankles and the knees together. Lift those left toes, point the left toes back. So now you're just on 3 points. It's more of a balance pose. You've got it. One more breath. Tuck the tailbone. Lengthen the lower back. Maybe put the toes back down. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, slowly lower. Use the upper body. Inhale to the back bend. Exhale, lower the chest. Inhale, tuck the toes. Exhale, down dog. 5 breaths. One more breath. Deeply bend the knees. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, travel forward, walk, step, or jump forward. Fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Push through the heels. Inhale, rise. Circle the arms, lift the chest, standing poses. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands down, step the right foot back, pivot the foot. We're coming to warrior two. Deeply bend the left knee and inhale, rise, warrior two. So the right toes are turned out to the right. Left toes are forward to the left. Left knee comes forward and to the left. Heart lifts, shoulders relax. Okay. Let's take 2 more deep breaths here, pushing down with the feet, reaching up with the crown of the head, reaching out with the fingertips. Keep the legs as they are. Release the back hand maybe to the thigh, the waist, or the half spine, but flip the front palm. Inhale, deepen the lunge. Exhale, reverse warrior. Lengthen the left side of the body as the left hip draws down and the left knee draws forward. Left fingertips draw up and over, but the left shoulder relaxes away from the left ear. Do what feels best in the neck. The easiest, softest, most gentle option is to look down by your right toes, but take 1 more breath. Reverse warrior. Inhale, return to warrior two, arms outstretched. Keep the legs as they are. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, side angle, Parsvakonasana. Right fingertips can reach up up or at a diagonal, or take the half spine. Left hand can come down to a block or down onto the mat. But push the feet down, lift the chest up, draw the right shoulder back towards the wall behind you. And again, do what feels best in the neck. The most gentle option is to look down at your left toes, but stay for 1 more breath. Side angle, Parsvakonasana. Ground through the feet. Inhale, return back to warrior two. Take 1 strong breath here. Inhale. Exhale, cartwheel the arms, step back, downward facing dog. You've got about 5 breaths to do whatever feels good to you before we do that on the second side. So you're welcome to rest, you're welcome to work. Do what feels best in your body, but keep breathing. And then make your way back into downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, deeply bend the knees. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, travel forward. Walk, step, or jump forward. Fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands down, step the left foot back, pivot the foot, ground the heel, deeply bend the right knee. Inhale, slowly rise, warrior two, Virabhadrasana two. So now the left toes are pointing over to the left, right toes are pointing forward, right knee is coming forward, bottoms of the feet are pushing down, and that's going to ground us to lengthen. So this is about lengthening the spine. We're not looking for any sort of particular spinal movement here. The spine really is, we're shooting for neutral. We're aiming for neutral here. So soften the shoulders, deeply bend the right knee, send it to the right. 1 more breath. Warrior two, Virabhadrasana two. Now, secure the left hand, so either the thigh, the waist, the half spine, but flip the right palm. Inhale, bend the right knee. Exhale, reach right fingertips up and over. Now, oftentimes we end up in a back bend here, so you might want to draw the ribs in. That's your call, though. Do what feels good. The right fingertips reach up and over, soften the right shoulder away from the right ear. We want length in the right side of the body by the right ribs, the right side of the waist. So draw the right hip down, right heel down, right knee forward and to the right. The softest option for your neck is to look down to the left toes. One more breath, reverse warrior. Inhale, return to warrior two, arms outstretched. Exhale, Parsvakonasana. Bend the right elbow, forearm rests on the top of the thigh. Left fingertips can reach up at a diagonal or take the half bind. Right hand can stay here, or maybe hand comes down to a block or to the mat. But no matter where you're at, you're going to draw your left shoulder back towards the wall behind you, opening your chest up and out, and maybe softening through the neck by looking down towards your right toes. But continue to reach the crown of your head up and that left heel down and back, maybe tucking the tailbone a little bit. Point the belly button towards the face just a hair. One more breath. Ground through the heels. Inhale, return warrior two, arms outstretched. Soften through the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, cartwheel the arms, step back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. About 5 breaths, do whatever feels good in your body. All right, from where you're at, make your way into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. From down dog, deeply bend the knees. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, travel forward, forward fold, Uttanasana. Now this transition we're going to do a little differently than we normally do. So inhale, lift up halfway, and then pause here. Take the feet about mat width distance apart and turn the toes out. We're coming to Malasana. So bring the hands to the heart. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, drop your seat down between your calves, between your heels. Come to Malasana. Now you can just let the hips hang. You can sit on a block or a stack of blocks. Remember, your blocks have different heights. And you could just focus on your hips here. You can do different movements, different things with your upper body, and you could do different things here. And you can spend some time here with your hips, your inner thighs. This usually feels pretty good. Or especially if you sort of round forward, it can feel kind of like a child's pose through the lower back. Do it feels good, but maybe you want another slow cooker in your core. And that's an arm balance. And so you can take any arm balance you'd like, but crow is always the easy go-to from here. So hands down on the mat like they would for plank or tabletop or down dog. Spread the fingers, middle finger forward, ground through the base of the pointer finger, lift the hips. You look forward and then bend the knees, bend the elbows. And if you're just starting with crow pose, start by lifting one foot up off the ground. So you've got 2 hands and 1 foot on the ground. So you're at 3 points on the ground, and then lift that 3rd point up off the ground. I often see new people trying to go from 4 body parts touching the ground to just suddenly 2. So think about, you've got, 2 hands, 2 feet on the ground, and then get rid of one of them, and then get rid of the other. So step by step. All right, wherever you're at, Malasana, crow, some other arm balance, some other pose. Maybe you're in legs up the wall for all I know. And that's fine. We've got a little bit more of core work to go, but of course, these arm balances, if that's where you're at, is a lot of upper body as well, but it certainly takes core work. So wherever you're at, stay for about 5 more breaths, even yourself out if you're doing something asymmetrical. All right, and then let's all come back into Malasana. And if you were in an arm balance, what I like to do is place the backs of the hands together, relax the wrists a little bit. And then we're going to come to a seat. So if you've got blocks underneath you, you can lift your seat, push them off to the side, or maybe you can just roll back. All right, so we're going to come into a seat right on the ground, no support beneath you. And for this pose, unlike what we were doing earlier when we were taking the seated cat and cow and those sorts of things, we really, it allows the spine and everything to be in neutral. So it's better. I don't like to, it's more ideal. It still sort of is to sit on something here. If we sat on something, it would make this much, much harder, like unnecessarily hard. Okay, even though I have taught it before, just for kicks. Okay, so we're gonna sit right on the ground, hands to the backs of the thighs, sit up tall, draw the shoulders down and back, lift the chest, lean back, Navasana, boat pose. You can keep the feet on the ground, you can lift the feet up away from the ground. Now this is where we were before, and you're welcome to stay right here. Staying still, maybe release the hands, maybe you lengthen the legs, maybe you've got a version you like and you just want to do that, and that's fine. Or maybe we add a little bit of movement, but it's a slow movement. So softening the shoulders and relaxing the hands along the backs of the thighs. Inhale, come to low boat. Lengthen the legs lower down towards the mat. Exhale, come back up to high boat. Now you're not pulling your thighs in with your arms. The work is in your core. Inhale, low boat. Exhale, high boat. Inhale, low. Exhale, high. Now we're going to keep doing this with your breath. Try to keep the feet together. Knees are going to probably come apart. That's okay. Can you keep the feet together for stability? And can you soften your shoulders away from your ears? Soften the throat, neck, and jaw. Feel it again. What do you think? Your core. Let's do one more just like this. Feel the work in your center, not the throat, neck, or jaw, not the lower back. Hold it at high boat, lifting the chest. Inhale. Exhale, let the feet come down, hands beside you, let the knees sway. Take a twist. Okay, so in that, you felt the work in your core. Now, and I keep saying your core really means like all over. One time I said in a group class something about your core, and it was misunderstood because they thought I meant the front. Your core is in actually really this whole region. So we're going to continue working your core, but in a slightly different way. There you felt it really probably more so in the center. Now we're going to get more in the side. So come on down onto your back. All right. So let's start with the arms out in opposite directions, palms up, knees bent, feet flat, and just let the knees sway from side to side, really gently. We're just going to take a gentle twist. This isn't working your core just yet. We'll get there in a moment. But let the back of the head, backs of the shoulders, backs of the arms, backs of the hands all really relax into the ground. Let the legs just really effortlessly float side to side. Make the movement a little bit bigger each time. Use just a couple more times each side. All right, now return back to the center. Now, turn at the head of the shoulder so that the palms face down. All right, we're going to tuck the tailbone. So point your belly button towards your face, flatten your lower back and the back of your ribs into the mat. So you're going to feel your core turn on. Now that engages the center. In a moment, we're going to get into the sides. Okay. So inhale, slowly lift the right foot up off the ground, coming to tabletop. Right knee is bent at a right angle, shin parallel to the floor, bottom of the foot facing the wall in front of you. Okay. And then inhale, lift up the left foot. So we're going to bring the feet together, just like before in boat pose. Knees will probably come apart. That's okay. But we want the feet together. Now, knees bent at a right angle. Oftentimes, people have the knees too far in or too far out. We want the thighs vertical. And you know you're in that sweet spot when your lower back starts to lift away from the ground and you are tempted to point your belly button at your thighs, and you have to work to point your belly button at your face. That's when you know you're in it. Okay. Now we're going to add on to this. So inhale, let the legs drop halfway over to the right to about a 45-degree angle. Exhale, push your left ribs down into the mat. That's what brings your legs back and your thighs back to vertical. Use your core. Inhale, let the legs go to the left, halfway over to a 45-degree angle. Exhale as you draw the back of the right ribs into the mat, the right side into the mat. You pull your legs back using your core. Keep going. Inhale as you go halfway over to the right. Exhale, push the left ribs down, bring it back. Inhale as you let the legs go to the left. Exhale, push the right side in. Now we're going to keep going. For more of a challenge, lengthen the legs, keep the feet together. Now even maybe the knees together. But same thing, inhale as you go halfway over to one side. Exhale, push that shoulder, that rib, that hip back down to come back to a vertical line. Inhale as you go over one side. Exhale, push the opposite shoulder, opposite rib, opposite hip back down. Inhale to the side. Exhale, return. Slow and controlled. Move with your breath. Inhale. Exhale. You're moving much faster than that. Your core isn't working as hard as we want it to. So inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Do two more on each side, just like this. Now, maybe you bend at your knees again. That's okay. You want to feel the work in your core in the appropriate spaces, which here is the front and the sides, not the lower back, not the throat, neck, and jaw. Feel it in the front sides and through the sides, the front side and the sides, I should say. That's a confusing way to say that, but I'm really feeling this and I'm starting to lose my concentration. Come back to the center. Once you've evened yourself out, return back to the center. Draw the ribs down. Now to release out of this, we've got to be careful. So push the ribs down, push the lower back down, point your belly button towards your face, bend your right knee, heel to the back of the thigh, bend the left knee, heel to the back of the thigh, right foot down, left foot down. And relax. Okay, and then take some movements that feel good here. Maybe let the knees sway. Maybe take a full body stretch. Maybe hug the knees into the chest. But now your abs can relax. Okay. Okay. Now we're just going to stretch. Let again your core, your abs relax. So maybe you bring a blanket under the back of your head. We're just going to relax. All right. Arms out in the opposite direction, palms face up. One more time, just let the knees sway side to side. Let the back of your head, upper back, backs of the arms all really relax again. And less of a pushing, not necessarily how the ribs were pushing down towards the mat and the core was pulling the legs. More just sort of a sway. Almost imagine as if someone was at the other end of your mat, just sort of pushing your legs to the right, pushing your legs to the left, as if someone was doing the work for you. Now we sort of want the opposite. Let your legs, again, feel as if they're being pushed side to side, a couple more times each side. And then eventually let the legs go to the left and let them stay there. Now you might allow the hips to scoot a little to the right. Maybe you leave the hips where they're at. Maybe you keep the legs as they are. Maybe you cross the right leg over the left. Maybe you lengthen your right leg, right? Like you're reaching your right toes for your left hand. And as long as your right shoulder is firmly on the ground, maybe you turn and look over your right shoulder. And now this is a stretch I've been practicing lately. And to add even another element to it, but listen to your lower back. Deeply bend your left knee, trying to creep your left foot over towards the right. And then can you use your right hand to grab onto the top of your left foot? Pull the left heel in towards the back of the left thigh, so you're feeling the stretch on the top of the left thigh and your quad, but keep the right shoulder down on the mat. So there's a lot going on. You can take any version you like. Maybe you just let the legs flop over to the side and you're just there. And that's awesome. No matter where you're at, relax into the stretch. Tap into your breath. Stay for 3 more breaths. And then if your head is turned, slowly return your head back to the center. Slowly return the inner thighs, the inner knees, the inner calves, the inner ankles, the big toe sides of the feet together. And then similar to that core exercise, inhale, exhale, push the right shoulder down, use your core, push the right ribs down, push the right hip down to pull the legs back. Return the spine to neutral. Take a couple deep breaths here. All right. And we'll come to the second side. You're welcome to come right into it. I always like to do just a little bit of movement between the sides. So same thing, just letting the knees sway side to side. But I know some people like to just go right into it, and you're welcome to do that. But whenever you're ready, eventually the legs will feel like they just got pushed. Very minimal effort on your part over to the right. Maybe you scoot the hips to the left. Maybe not. Maybe you keep the big toes, sides of the feet together, the inner knees, inner thighs together, and you just stay right here. Maybe you cross left leg over right like you would if you were sitting in a chair. Maybe you lengthen your left leg like your left toes are reaching for your right hand. Maybe you can grab onto your left toes. And keep the left shoulder down on the ground. Maybe you even turn and look over your left shoulder. This is sort of an added stretch for the right quad, but maybe you draw the right thigh over to the left a little bit, deeply bend the knee, and use the left hand to grab onto the top of the right foot, drawing the right heel towards the back of the right thigh, feeling the stretch in the top of the right thigh from the knee to the hip along the quad. But again, left shoulder down on the ground. And then again, tap into your breath. Follow the journey of your breath. How are you breathing in this pose? Three more breaths. And if your head is turned, slowly return your head to the center. And slowly return the inner thighs, the inner knees, inner calves, inner ankles, big toes together. Inhale. Exhale, use your core to drop the left ribs, left hip, left seat down. Recenter the hips, the spine, the length of your body, and take a few deep breaths. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, hug your knees into your chest. You can rock from side to side. Maybe you point and flex your feet. Maybe you rotate the ankles around. Maybe you wiggle the toes. Maybe you take Happy Baby. Another thing that feels good, which is similar to Happy Baby, is from Happy Baby, just deeply bending the knees, bringing the bottoms of the feet together. So it's like you're in this butterfly pose, but on your back. I think this feels good. But whatever feels good, take some breaths, do what you got to do. In a few moments, we're going to come into Shavasana. So set yourself up for Shavasana in any way that you need to. Come into a comfortable position that is the most comfortable position you can come to in this moment with what you've got around you. Settle in, get cozy, and let yourself relax. And oftentimes it's hard to relax because our mind is wandering and we feel like thoughts just keep coming into our mind. And so it might help to think about it this way. Imagine you are on a dock or on a pier, somewhere where you can watch ships and boats pass by. And those boats are your thoughts. You're just watching them come in And go out and you're watching as a third party, unbiased viewer. You can watch all of this happen. But every once in a while, you'll space out for a moment and you'll look down and you're suddenly on the boat. You're no longer on the pier, you're on the boat, you're on the ship. You're on the ship that's moving. You're trapped in your thought. Your thought swept you up and it's taking you away. So just come back to the pier. Come back to the dock. Come back to where you can watch your thoughts. You see them coming. You know they're on their way, but you just let them go. You just let them go. Just keep coming back onto the pier. Slowly deepen your breath. And as you deepen your breath, invite soft, subtle movements throughout your body. Let your head rock from side to side. Run your thumbs over the rest of your fingertips as you wiggle your toes. Roll wrists and ankles. Move arms and legs. Maybe reach your arms overhead, stretching as if you just woke up from a long nap. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, hug your knees into your chest. And slowly roll over onto either side, resting your ear on your arm. Using the strength of both arms, push down into the ground. Come up to a comfortable seat. Take a moment here to thank yourself for making it to your mat today. Maybe you reflect on your intention. Now let's join the hands together in front of the heart in Anjali Mudra. To seal our practice, we'll chant the sound of Om one time. Let's start with a deep and clearing breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale for Om. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. And may you be surrounded by your inner being of light and truth. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for spending your time with me, doing self-care for yourself. So thank you. And I hope you enjoyed this. So I know by the time you're watching this, all the holidays are pretty much done. But happy holidays, happy 2022. I forgot what year it was for a second, because we're not there yet as the time I'm recording this. So happy New Year, I guess I should say. And thank you for everything. Thank you for being around. Thank you for a wonderful year as we made what we could of it. And we're going to do the same for this next year. So thank you so much. Stay healthy, safe, and all of that. Bye.